Hi you guys, this is Jamie with Whatever's Clever Boutique, and today we are going to make a cute little deer tumbler. So we are going to start with a 32-ounce plump from the Steel Magnolia. I use the prepped tumblers, and we're going to use this super cute deer vinyl from Banff Custom Creations. And I basically here I'm just trimming the vinyl in the size that I want for each section. So I knew I wanted to get two full rows of deer on the top portion of the tumbler. So I just kind of kept trimming until I liked the way it looked. And then I went ahead and lined it up and removed a little bit of that backing and laid that vinyl down and started wrapping. Once I got that wrapped, I took my X-Acto knife and cut down that seam. Now I'm going to take this semi-transparent striped vinyl, and in hindsight I wish I hadn't used it because it wasn't as opaque on the lines as I would have liked. You can almost see some of the glitter through it. So I will link some other options down below for what you could use here. But I just wanted a small thin stripe of this anyway, so it ended up working out just fine. And then I took this other deer, this is more so a deer print vinyl, and I'm gonna apply that to the bottom of the tumbler. And the deer print vinyl is from Banff Custom Creations. Now we're going to do the same thing as we did above with this deer print vinyl. We're going to cut off a little bit of that backing, lay that vinyl down, and just start pushing with my fingers here because this piece was so thin that using my fingers was easier for me than using the squeegee. And I just pushed that all the way around until the seams met up, and then again took my X-Acto knife and trimmed off the excess. Now with this one, I kind of trimmed around the dots so it looked a little more seamless. Don't mind my head there. But that's a good way to try and hide the seam a bit when you have patterns like this. Now for this middle section, I'm going to take this dump bucket glitter that I made using a whole bunch of different brown vinyls. So I taped off the vinyl on either side of the striped area that we're going to apply, as well as the bottom. And then I am going to take some brown acrylic paint from Arteza. I went with Sangria Red. It's really more of a brown, but that's what it's called. So and I just base painted that with the acrylic paint and then let that dry. To apply the glitter today, I'm going to use my glitter glue from Crystalac, but I'm going to mix it in with that acrylic paint just to add a little more pigment to the sections that I painted because it wasn't super full coverage on the first coat. But I stir that up and then I will apply it to the tumbler just like I did the paint earlier. And then I will go ahead and apply that brown dump bucket glitter. Now that glitter is available on my website. It was one of the dump buckets that I created with all of my excess glitter that I've just had sitting for years, or maybe it was cuts or colors that I didn't use a lot of. So I mixed all those together and created some really cool custom dump bucket blends that I decided to go ahead and list for all of you guys to purchase if that was something you're interested in, at a super discounted price. I mean, it's just something fun that I did and wanted to be able to share that with you guys. So if it's something you're interested in, go ahead and take a look. I'll have it linked down below. going to go ahead and remove that tape, the most satisfying part of this whole process. I just love it. I don't know what it is, just those clean, crisp lines. It's great. And there is a little bit of chunk in this mix, so I'm going to pat that down with my fingers just to make sure that there's nothing really sticking up or that's going to cause a little bit of craziness when we go to apply our epoxy. So I did let that dry for a couple of hours, and then I went back in with my Crystalite glitter glue and sealed that glitter in so we don't have any cross-contamination when we go to apply our epoxy. Once I get that all on, I'm going to go ahead and let that dry for a couple of hours, and then we are going to add 2 coats of epoxy. Now we're going to take that striped semi-transparent vinyl and we're going to go ahead and apply that to the center section, same way as we did the other vinyls. The backing on this really didn't want to work with me on this day, so it took me far too long to apply this vinyl. I kept having to kind of pull, and as you can see here, but we eventually get it all laid down. Once we get it all wrapped, we're going to take that X-Acto knife, and you can kind of see here, you see those white spots in those colored dots. That's kind of what I was referring to when I said that you could see the glitter through it. The silver pieces of glitter that are in my brown mix, you could see through those colored spots, and it just really bugged me for some reason. But I'm going to take my textured vinyl from Tech Wrap Craft, and I have it cut out into little lines, and I'm just going to wrap those around those seams. And then I'm going to go in with this pink pinstriping tape that I got from Amazon, and I'm going to do the same thing for kind of that layered vinyl look. For this tumbler, I did do a glitter bottom, and I really love how the colors looked on this one. I used that Dump Bucket glitter as well as Wicked from Peachy Olive Glitters, as well as my little Missy Doodles acrylic tag in the center there in gold. And I'll link a couple of videos down below showing how to do these, but I've shown you guys so many times I figure I just kind of skip through that step here in the next few tutorials. And I didn't love the seam of that deer vinyl, so I went ahead and I took that same vinyl and cut out one of the flowers. It was just really harsh for me to see, and I just didn't love that. So I took a flower and I just kind of laid it right over that seam, and then I also took some leaves to kind of make this look more seamless. ready for our final 2 coats of epoxy. On the first final coat, I put a little bit of Echo from KSRESIN in there to add a little bit of shimmer throughout the tumbler, and then just went in with some regular epoxy on that second final coat to finish it off. This turned out so cute. I love all things deer print. I love them. We have a property that has all sorts of deer on it, and we just absolutely love having them around us. I hope you enjoyed this simple and sweet tutorial. If you did, feel free to like or comment or subscribe to my channel and push that little bell button if you want to be notified each time I post new tutorials. And don't forget to check that description box below if you want any discount codes or want to know any of the products that I used in this tutorial. I also have my new makers group linked down below if you have any interest in joining a group of fellow tumbler makers. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week.